Footage of Parliament clashes, MPs versus the Marshals. This time 8 ministers do a joint press conference to take on the opposition leaders, while opposition calls it the murder of democracy. All this on a day when a fresh row over Twitter locking Congress's account emerges. Industrial production rises in June, food inflation down, fuel down slightly. Code red on climate change, extreme rain in UP and thousands of villages submerged across Uttar Pradesh. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. Now, the entire monsoon session has been a washout. We've seen lots of protests happen by the opposition. But today, the scenes that emerged have never been seen before. We saw MPs and opposition MPs almost on top of each other, and then marshals in middle of that. Now, two sides of the story here. Opposition says the marshals who were called in, they roughed up the women MPs, while the government put out a press conference with 8 ministers sitting, blaming the opposition for it, saying it was the MPs who behaved instead.
This CCTV footage of a scuffle inside the Rajya Sabha has been released to counter what the government calls a negative propaganda being spread by the opposition. The opposition's Sharad Pawar alleged that outsiders were brought in disguised as marshals and manhandled MPs, including women.
They tried to forcibly open the door by breaking the glass. शीशा तोड़ के अंदर आने का कोशिश किया. एक महिला कर्मचारी को घायल हो गए. And she has given in writing.
In fact, the government had this briefing by 8 cabinet ministers barely an hour after this protest by the opposition ended. The march was led by Rahul Gandhi, who protested against the voice of the opposition being curtailed and Modi using the Pegasus software to invade privacy, and marched outside Parliament. The notable absentees in the opposition were the Trinamool Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party.
पहली बार राज्यसभा में सांसदों की पिटाई की गई है. बाहर से लोगों को बुलाकर नीली वर्दी में डालकर सांसदों को धक्का मुक्की मारपीट की गई. वाइस चेयरमैन को दुख हो रहा है. चेयरमैन की क्या जिम्मेदारी है? द वॉइस ऑफ 60% ऑफ दिस कंट्री हैज बीन क्रश्ड, ह्यूमिलिएटेड.
Government has suo to come out with a statement. There is an established practice in the Rajya Sabha that after the minister's statement, members are allowed to seek clarifications, raise any questions. It could have given ample opportunity to everybody. They did not take that opportunity.
The Congress stands exposed as a party devoid of any agenda, as a party which does not care for the people of India.
The government's response came after the opposition leaders from the Rajya Sabha met and complained to the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. Mr. Naidu denied any outsiders were permitted in the house. Separately, Twitter suspended hundreds of Congress Twitter accounts, including Rahul Gandhi's, for what it called as violative of Indian laws and its own policies. Twitter says it did so on a complaint by the Child Right Protection Committee. Gandhi had tweeted a picture of the parents of a 9-year-old rape and murder victim in Delhi. The Congress and the Trinamool Congress attacked both Twitter and the government for stopping the freedom of speech, with some Congress leaders pointing out that the BJP had tweeted the identity and faces of a similar case and the tweet is still on.
Dealing with Twitter to try and get that resolved. As far as I'm concerned, no social media outfit should actually be in the business of interfering with freedom of expression in our country. Laws will be respected, must be respected.
With both the opposition and the government attacking each other, a new law has been reached, and both understand that if Parliament has to function, they have to be able to find a resolution before the next session. With camera person Ashok Mahle and Azam, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
The big international story of the day coming in from Afghanistan. The Afghan government negotiators in Qatar have offered the Taliban a power-sharing deal in return of the end of fighting in the country. This is what has been said by a negotiating source over there. But how is India responding and what should be the outlook? Take a look.
We had here a high-level visitor a few days ago, Mutlaq bin Majid Al-Khatani, special envoy of the Foreign Minister of Qatar for counter-terrorism and mediation of conflict resolution. He had also extended an invitation to India to participate in a meeting in Doha today, 12th, which actually we have participating, our Joint Secretary looking after Pakistan, Afghanistan and Iran. On the security situation, look, it is of concern. It is a rapidly evolving situation. We are supporting all peace initiatives in Afghanistan. We are in touch with all stakeholders, various stakeholders. And इससे ज़्यादा मैं अभी कुछ कहना नहीं चाहूँगा.
And Ghazni particularly is crucial because it falls along the crucial Kandahar-Kabul highway, and as we know, Kandahar is the Taliban hotbed. So it allows the insurgents a much more direct line to Kabul, which is why now the concern that Kabul could be on the brink of collapse. We already heard about that US leaked intelligence report said that Kabul could fall anywhere in up to 90 days. And I think this is something which is both bewildering and alarming everyone who has a stake in the Afghanistan game, because everybody knew that once the US pulled out, the Afghan army forces will struggle to resist the Taliban, but nobody expected it would be this fast, that already you have close to 2/3 of the country virtually under Taliban control, and there's just now a handful of key cities which are still under the regime control. And I think this is something which has deeply concerning implications for the rest of the world and for India. It's very clear that the Taliban is adopting a very clever dual strategy. On one hand, they keep saying that they're interested in talks and interested in negotiations and a ceasefire, but on the ground, the reality is very different. Almost every international observer, including observers in India, believe that the Taliban is simply, in a way, stalling for time. They're trying to capture as much territory as possible before they agree to a ceasefire and before they come onto a negotiating table. Having said that, the Taliban is also attempting to portray itself as a changed entity, no longer the barbarism of the past, no longer the misogyny and the targeting of women. In fact, the Taliban senior spokesperson, the head of their political office, Mullah Baradar, actually gave a speech, and the key points he made in that speech, I'm going to quickly read it out with a straight face, because this is the Taliban claiming that they say all citizens, according to them, now are equal under law. They're fully committed to human rights, minority rights, women's rights and so on and so forth. Women will have a right to education and the right to work. Now again, many of these claims are being countered on the ground where there are reports of increased violence.
In other news now, Justice Nariman, a high-profile Supreme Court judge involved in several landmark judgments, retired today from the Supreme Court, with the Chief Justice N.V. Ramana describing him as the lion of a judge, and the legal fraternity praising his legacy. But there are concerns about vacancy now. Justice Nariman's retirement from the Supreme Court brings the total strength to 25, with 9 vacancies. And with another judge set to retire later this month, there will be then 10 spots to fill in. A farewell in the Supreme Court lawns for Justice Rohinton Fali Nariman after 7 years as a top court judge. Son of top lawyer Fali Nariman, he was designated senior lawyer at the young age of 37. At the farewell, the Chief Justice of India spoke highly of Justice Nariman.
The amount of work we put as judges, day in and out, there exists a misconception in the minds of the people that judges stay in a big bungalows, work only 10 to 4 in the day, enjoy their holidays. Such a narrative is untrue. Brother Nariman's retirement, I feel like I am losing one of the lions that guarded the judicial institution.
Justice Nariman thanked everyone.
I can't say that I have enjoyed every minute of being a judge. It's been very hard work. Certainly enjoyed writing judgments. But at the end of it all, it's worked out well. I believe there is a legitimate expectation in the people of India and the litigating public to get a certain quality of justice from this final court. For that, it is very clear merit must predominate.
Justice Nariman's judgments stand out. He struck down Section 66A of the IT Act 2000, saying it invaded right of free speech. His recent judgment warned politicians to wake up from slumber to decriminalize politics. To stop custodial deaths, he directed the installation of CCTVs at police stations, the CBI and NIA offices. Justice Nariman was part of the bench which allowed women to visit the Sabrimala temple. With Justice Nariman's retirement, the top court's strength will be reduced to 25 with 9 vacancies. One more judge is to retire on the 18th of this month, taking the vacancies to 10. Now the focus will shift to the Chief Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramana, as the head of the collegium of top 5 judges. Will he recommend names to the government? With Sukirti Dwivedi, A. Vaidyanathan and Sanjay Kaushik, Anusaya Mathur for NDTV. The other big news of the day came in from the industrial production numbers coming in, which has risen to 13.6% in June. Now, June's sharp rise measured against crash in June last year. And the retail inflation dips below RBI's red line as well. The July retail inflation at 5.59% was 6.26 in June. That means that June inflation within RBI's band of 4% to plus minus 2% over there. Meanwhile, facing intense protest by farmers at both public and party events, the ministers in the BJP-JJP alliance government in Haryana will not be unfurling the national flag on Independence Day in 7 such districts, which have sent maximum number of people in the ongoing agitation against the central agri laws at the Singhu and Tikri border sites at the Delhi border. Now, as per a schedule released by the Office of Chief Secretary, the Deputy Commissioners will hoist the national flag in Kaithal, Rohtak, Sirsa, Kurukshetra, Jind, Jajjar, Sonipat districts, but no ministers will unfurl the flag in 7 districts. Ghazali joins us for the very latest on that. Ghazali, just going through the order copy there, this gives out perhaps the sharpest message or response we've seen on the bill so far.
Yeah, certainly, because for the last many months we have seen that how farmers have been resisting the public and private appearance of BJP, JJP leaders in Haryana. There has never been any program in the last 6 months which has not met the protest from the farmers. And if you see these districts, Jind is has the assembly constituency of Deputy Chief Minister Dushyant Chautala. From Kurukshetra we have this farm union leader Gurnam Singh Chadhuni, who is leading the entire protest there. So certainly they want to send out a big message to the government here in Haryana that until you come out in support of the of our protest, of our agitation against the farm laws, till then you will be facing these protests. Though bureaucrats unfurling the national flag in district is not an exception. It happened even last year during the Independence and Republic Day. But certainly if you figure out the district where these bureaucrats will be unfurling the flag has been the hotbed or the epicenter of this entire farm agitation in Haryana.
All right, Ghazali, leave it there for the moment. A strong message there coming in from Haryana on Independence Day, giving in yet again their support to the agitation still going on, remember, at the borders of Delhi. However, in other news coming out of Punjab now was the massive felicitation ceremony that was organized by the Chief Minister today for the Olympic heroes. He met with them. There were elaborate setups over there, lots of rewards given out, and then came this tweet by the Chief Minister where he talks about happy to meet our Olympic superstars, have promised them that I will cook for them and will host them for dinner soon. India is proud of all of them.